In the beginning, there was nothing but a vast and empty darkness. Then came the gods. First, the elder gods, born of chaos and earth, who fought a great war among themselves. And then the younger gods, born of the union between the earth and the sky, who lived forever after on Olympus, high above the world they had made. But the gods were lonely. So from clay they made the first man, whom they called Prometheus, meaning forethought. And to keep him company, they made a woman named Pandora, meaning all gifts. They gave her a jar filled with all the troubles and woes the world would ever know, and told her not to open it under any circumstances. But Pandora was curious. Oh, so very curious. And when no one was looking, she lifted the lid and unleashed all those evils into the world. Then she slammed the lid shut and hid the jar away. But it was too late. Evil was loose and humanity doomed. Except Prometheus felt sorry for mankind. He'd known what Pandora had done. So he stole fire from Olympus and gave it to man, which is why every year the gods punish humanity by sending winter. For without fire, humans can barely survive. But each spring, Prometheus feels sorry for mankind all over again. So he tricks the goddess of the seasons back to Earth, where she stays for a third of every year, bringing warmth and light and life with her. And so the seasons turn endlessly, as old as time itself. And yet, mankind still dreams of greatness. Oh, how they dream. In the far-off future, when men will be twice as strong and twice as tall as they are now, there will be an age of heroes born from the blood of the gods. And they will perform deeds of valor that will echo throughout eternity. First, there is Perseus, son of Zeus, who raised his sword against the hideous Gorgon Medusa, whose very gaze could turn men to stone. With the help of the gods, he slew her, cut off her head, and from her blood sprang the winged horse Pegasus and the giant Chrysaor, who was slain by Perseus. Then there's the great inventor and craftsman Daedalus, who built wings to fly away from the island of Crete. But his son Icarus flew too close to the sun, and the wax holding his wings together melted. And so he fell into the sea and drowned. Then we meet Theseus, the slayer of the Minotaur, a creature with the head of a bull and the body of a man who lived in the labyrinth, a great and terrible maze. But Theseus found the Minotaur and killed him. Also, the swift hunter Atalanta, who raced against a suitor and left him in the dust. The vain Amazonian princess Melino, who hunted a lion and tamed it, then rode it into battle against the Athenians. And the hero Bellerophon, who rode the winged horse Pegasus to defeat the fire-breathing monster Chimera. And the greatest of them all, Heracles, son of Zeus, who performed his 12 labors, including slaying the Nemean lion, capturing wild Erymanthean boar, cleaning King Ajax's stables in a single day, and wrestling a giant crab to death. Then comes the most famous adventure of all, the quest of Jason and the Argonauts, who sailed around the earth in search of the Golden Fleece. They fought many monsters along the way, like the dragon guarding the fleece. And they faced many trials, like the sorceress Medea, who fell in love with Jason and helped him get the fleece, but later betrayed him out of jealousy. Finally, there is the greatest musician of all, Orpheus, who played his lyre so well that the gods themselves smiled upon him. But even he failed when he tried to bring his music to the underworld. Now, if you think all these stories are over, you would be wrong, because all roads lead to war, especially in the heroic age. When kings and heroes from all over Greece gathered their armies and marched on the city of Troy. Starting with the most devastating war of all, the Trojan War. It began because of a beautiful woman named Helen, who was taken from her husband, King Menelaus, by the Trojan prince Paris. Now, Menelaus' brother, King Agamemnon, wanted Helen back, so he called upon all the Greek heroes to help him win the war. There was Ajax, the great and terrible warrior, Achilles, the swift and deadly, and Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, who may have been the greatest hero of all. Together, They endured 10 long years of fighting, until finally, thanks to the cunning of Odysseus, the Greeks won. They had a great army inside a wooden horse and pretended to sail away. Then, while the Trojans were celebrating their supposed victory, those Greek warriors snuck out of the horse and opened the gates to let the rest of the Greek army in. They pillaged the city and took everything they could carry, including the beautiful Trojan princess, Cassandra, who was cursed never to be believed when she spoke the truth, and Helen, who returned to Sparta to live out the rest of her days as a shell of her former self. Meanwhile, Odysseus set sail for home. He and his crew endured many adventures, battling monsters and gods, until finally, after 20 long years, he got to set foot on Ithaca again. There are many more tales from ancient Greece, like the story of King Midas, who turned everything he touched into gold, or Sisyphus, who cheated death and got punished by being forced to push an immense stone up a hill for all eternity. But that, dear viewer, is a story for another time. This has been the timeline of Greek mythology. Tana, the stories will begin.